sports every single day. Tiki and Tierney, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Aggie Land Roofing. The Clara B. Mounts Library is offering free homework assistance Monday through Thursday from 5 to 6:45 p.m. The Brazos County Master Gardeners invite you to the DIY Drip Irrigation Program Wednesday from noon to 1 at the Brazos County Extension Office on Highway 21 in Bryan. The Bush Library invites you to a Library Issues Forum about the documentary film Cowboys, Thursday, September 21st at 7 p.m. Call 691-4014 to reserve your seat. Join Louie and Dusty at 4 Down Sports Bar this Saturday, starting 30 minutes after the game for the TexAgs.com call-in show, or watch them live on Facebook, Zone 1150. Community Calendar is brought to you by Aggie Land Roofing. Need professional, efficient service? Call the Roofer Girl, class of 90, with Aggie Land Roofing. Free estimates, repairs, and insurance claim assistance. 777-1432 or online at theroofergirl.com.
Give your truck authority. Texas Truck Riggins will help you hook up your rig the way you want it.
Looking for the perfect gift? Stop by Texas Truck Riggins for a gift certificate. They have everything to spruce up your truck or SUV. From grill guards, toolboxes, and spray-in bed liners to diesel performance chips, headache racks, step bars, and powder coating. The perfect gift is a gift certificate from Texas Truck Riggins.
Visit Texas Truck Riggins on South College Street across from the Lake of the Bryan Municipal Golf Course. Find us on Facebook or visit us at txtruckriggins.com.
You can hear College Station Cougar football all season long on the Zone 102.7 FM. Every play, every game, every Friday night. Thanks to ABC Home and Commercial Services, Kelly Bird Dozer, The String and Horn Shop, and Pride Cleaners. Your favorite high school teams, Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High, play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. To find out when and where to hear your team, visit brazosfootball.com.
Register today for the Caprock ER 5K at caprocker.com. The family-friendly event is September 30th, and 100% of the proceeds are donated to all 4 local Bryan College Station high schools. There are lots of great prizes, and the first-place finisher gets a Mac laptop.
My daughter had a high fever, so they knew we were coming, and they met us at the door, and we were ushered in immediately. They treated her like they would treat their own. I really felt like they saw us as people that they cared about.
Caprock Emergency, 948 William Fitch Parkway, College Station.
Maintaining your vehicle is not only important, but required. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia from Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube, and I want to remind you that your registration will now serve as a combined proof for inspection and registration, but you will still need to have your vehicle inspected. We can do that for you at Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash, or visit our other location at East William Joe Bryan Parkway next to the main post office. Like us on Facebook for weekly promotions.
He's a country twang, crusty curmudgeon. And he's got an opinion and attitude. It's Olin Buchanan. Weekday mornings at 8 on TexAgs Radio.
I got it now. Hit it again, man.
Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour lunch, live at the Tap, and on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, 102.7 FM, and also now streaming on Facebook Live. We started that on Monday, and we will continue to do that for the rest of the semester and into the spring. So if you cannot get out here and you've got your phone handy, you can follow Zone 1150's Facebook page. And
Louie's always cutting edge, dude, technology-wise.
When I look at
There's this Facebook thing we need to do. It's taking over the world.
It's brand new. It's brand new. But, again, come out, hang out with us, and if you can't, check us out on the Facebook live stream or online at the Radio Aggieland app, obviously, as well on the radio. Also, the Tap today, I think we got Louisiana Lafayette coming in on Saturday, Billy, and they're doing an $8.99 shrimp po' boy today. I think that's kind of appropriate, along with your $8.99 burger basket. Come out, grab you a bite to eat. Good crowd today. The front table is almost full. I don't know if somebody was bringing cupcakes or what the deal was, but this is the first time the front table's been full. Glad to have everybody out here. Got a good crowd today at the Tap. And we are less than 48 hours away from kick between Texas A&M and Louisiana Lafayette. And, Billy, I wanted to start today by we kind of viewed last week maybe as a scrimmage. Maybe. You could look at it and say A&M did some things to try to make themselves better throughout the entire season. Do they do that again this week, or do they go back to doing what they do well and implementing their game plan as something they would do, to make themselves better against Arkansas?
No, I think that this week is kind of a combination. Last week, scrimmage, you don't care if you win a scrimmage or not, and that's why I was about to call it a scrimmage last week in my rep. I said it was more like a preseason game. Like, you still want to come out on top. You're not, obviously they had to win the game. They didn't want the game to be that close. Mm-hmm. So this is not there was no intention of Kevin Sumlin going, you know what, I want to see how my team fares in a tie game in the fourth quarter against Nichols. I want to see how they respond. That was not the intent at all. But the intent was to work on a lot of things that they would not be able to work on against probably, to be honest, any other team on the schedule, including this weekend against ULL, Louisiana, as they like to be called now.
That's a big talking point for McNeese grads because they keep changing their names.
It used to be USL, then it was ULL.
And now they want to be UL. So
figure it out.
All of us, prominent McNeese grads like to make fun of them.
Well, I've been calling it ULL all week, and not even to be disrespectful, simply because I can't keep up.
Exactly.
I mean, what if A&M was like M&A, AM, TAMU, they insisted on being called. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when you've got so many directional schools in such a small area, one of which you attended, it's actually you guys don't have a direction, so there's that.
And we used to get McNeese isn't even a state. So
that's true.
Neither was Nichols, though.
Neither is Northwestern State, so you guys have problems over there. So, this week I think that it's kind of a combination of both because you have to work on certain things to be better in time for SEC play, which comes up now in about 9 days. They've got to get. I know this is an unpopular topic right now because everyone does that thing, whatever sound effects come with sitting in front of your keyboard and typing a dissertation about how Jake Hubinak's getting wronged, but you've got to get Kellen Mond work as well. Whether you start Jake and you say, you know what, he earned the start, or whether you start Kellen and say, you know what, Jake mentally, as an older guy, can handle coming into a game cold, whereas that's not necessarily the best position to put Kellen. All these things have to be factored in because it's like we talked about the other day at quarterback. It's such a dilemma for them because do you say, how many games do you think you can win with Jake Hubinek and what you can do offensively with him combined with your defense, special teams, the whole deal, and looking at that schedule? And I think you've got a number in your head of your coaching staff, not a hard number, but whatever you want to say. 5 or 6 games, 7 or 8 games, 9, whatever that number is. And then you got to go, what could we be with Kellen Mond if we can develop him to where he's a month from now here and by November here? And if that number is that much different, then you damn sure better get him prepared to play.
But don't you have to also ask yourself what your record could be if we continue to do both? Because your original plan was probably to do both with Nick Starkel.
Their original plan was not to do both. Their original plan was to do both until one of them emerged. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think the consensus was that would have probably have been Starkel, but they needed to get Kellen playing time as a backup because if he's going to be your number 2 and Starkel got hurt, which he did, but say he got hurt a month from now, you wouldn't want to try out a guy out there that hadn't played. The plan against UCLA was Kellen Mond was going to play those 2 series, and that was it. He probably would have played a little more, against Nichols in a perfect world, and a little more against ULL. And then I believe it would have been Starkel,
show.
had he played well, and he had a promising start against UCLA. He wasn't lighting it up, but he looked comfortable. His throws were crisp. He was a promising start. He looked good. Then I think maybe you just get a series, a half or so for Kellen, just to kind of throw a little change up at a defense. But it wasn't going to be a 2-quarterback deal for the whole year. That was never the intention nor the desire. That was certainly not the desire. But now where it's at.
That's what I'm saying. Now do you have to make that assessment and say, okay, Jake gives us X, Mon gives us Y. Could Mon and Jake give us Z?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's something that's possible. But in doing so, I still think in their eyes, and you guys, everybody wants to turn everything into an argument. This is not an argument. This is a statement. I'm not asking for an opinion back at me. I'm not asking for a healthy Thursday afternoon sports debate because, by God, I've had them on Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and Sunday of this week. I'm not saying that Kellen Mond, by all means, should be the quarterback, and just scrap Jake and just go with the future. That's not what I'm saying. Personally, I would probably start Jake, bring in Kellen. I don't think that's going to be the case this weekend. I think they're going to continue doing what they've done at that spot, and I'm just telling you not to get into a, Skip Bayless, Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, whoever he's arguing with now, debate. Colin Cowherd versus himself, whatever that moron does. Joel Klatt versus the SEC. I'm not in one of those debates. I'm just telling you how it is, and I think that, what's going on, the thought process over there in Bright right now is they still want to fast-track Kellen Mond to see how quickly he can become a capable passer down the field. And so whatever they're doing, I still think that the end game scenario is to get Kellen Mond ready to be the guy. That is my belief, and it's not just based off me. It's me paying attention to what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing.
I think you told me earlier in the week that you've had a couple of buddies that maybe you went to school with. There's some guys that that played football that had Nick Starkel's injury.
Yeah.
Is it a possibility that he makes it back before the end of the year?
Yeah, I think that's a definite possibility. I think
which, when he left against UCLA, was pretty much a non-existent thought because it looked like it was going to be the worst.
It was a non-existent thought to people that didn't know. And if he had ligaments and things like that, then yeah. But I think it sounds they don't talk about injuries, but a clean break, guys can be back, especially that lower leg. And Dan Campbell had it. I remember Irvin Taylor had it. Irvin Taylor did it. Irvin did it in that game against Dan did it in practice, I believe. Irvin did it in that game against the Hurricane game, Texas State.
Oh, Texas State.
Which was obviously that was a September football game, second or third week, and he played at the end of the year. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken on this one, if I'm not mistaken, he might have scored at the end of the year against Texas on that long touchdown, but I'm not sure.
Year. I think it was a different year.
I think it was the year before, yeah. But he played at the end of the year is all I'm getting at. So he returned. 8 weeks for Nick Starkel, 2 full months off a broken bone would be Mississippi State. 8 weeks from the UCLA game to the Mississippi State game. That's only game 7. I think that's another point to kind of look at and circle and go, what happens if they're kind of treading water, Kevin Sumlin's hanging in there, you're getting better quarterback play than you're getting now, which allowed you to maybe, say, beat Arkansas or in South Carolina, but then maybe you lost to Bama and Florida. Then what do you do? What's the situation there? And I think that would depend on, would Starkel have been able to begin practicing, like running or doing something 6 weeks in and practicing 7 weeks in.
Yeah, he's not going to show up that week and be healthy to play that next Saturday.
So maybe it's even the next week against Auburn. Who's to say? So my point is I do think there's a very real possibility. I'm not going to try to guess the week. I think that's crazy. But in sports, I'm going to tell you this. It's usually a little sooner than the first assessment
Right.
is. It's usually a week sooner or a few days sooner than that. So I would say, yeah, that's a definite possibility later in the season. But it's not something to worry about now because, A, if that even happened, and B, if your quarterbacks weren't, you
got to
couple
worry
of
about
big
right now.
ifs.
Yeah.
To even get there, they've got to start playing better football, much better football
Absolutely.
than we've seen the last 6 quarters.
On the other side of the break, we're going to get into some offensive line talk and maybe look at the defense has actually played well if you look at it in 6 of the 8 quarters of the season, so I don't think we give them enough credit. We'll continue our talk about the upcoming game between Aggies and the Raging Cajuns on Saturday. You're listening to Beliucci Hour Lunch on The Zone.
You can listen to Paul Feinbaum. 2 to 4 afternoons on Sports Radio 1150. The Zone, 102.7 FM. And online at RadioAggieland.com.
For work or play, trucks and equipment take a beating every day. Make them last with Rhino Lighting's protective coatings at Texas Custom Outfitters. Whether you're investing in a new truck or looking to add life to your existing truck, trailer, RV, and equipment, Rhino Linings is a proven solution. Rhino Extreme Coatings offer great chemical, rust, and corrosion resistance, as well as a superior impact resistance to withstand those heavy loads. Head to Texas Custom Outfitters on Highway 6 in Navasota or online at TexasCustomOutfitters.com. Ask them about their gift certificates.
Whether tailgating for 2 or 200, shop Reedfield Meats and Deli on Texas Avenue in Bryan. Bacon-wrapped filet mignon, hand-cut aged ribeyes and New York strips, smoked applewood bacon, meat kebabs, seasoned and marinated meats, bacon-wrapped specialties, fresh muffalata sandwiches, in-store made Italian sausage, and Reedfield's spectacular party trays for game day gatherings. 57 years of serving award-winning meats. Reedfield Meats and Deli, open Monday through Friday 8 to 6 and Saturdays till 4. When you think of Texas A&M athletics on The Zone, think of the businesses sponsoring the games of your favorite team.
Businesses like Subway, Coldwell Banker, Agtown Realtor, Cherry Rufino Realtors, and Team Ford of Navasota.
Here's a big gig-em to these sponsors of Texas A&M Athletics. You're listening to the flagship station for Texas A&M Athletics, Sports Radio 1150, and The Zone 102.7 FM.
You need help if you've been charged with a crime. The justice system is daunting. You need an experienced defense lawyer to obtain the best results for you. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has been helping people fight criminal charges for over 20 years. Call Steve Gustitis now to schedule your free consultation. 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Let Steve Gustitis put his experience to work for you. 823-9111. Visit GustitisLaw.com today and get the help that you need.
Find out why folks are still discovering the Tap after 26 years. We think it's because we offer something for all ages, from tasty food like our Philly cheesesteak, bacon cheese tater tots, or 3/4-pound triple-decker club sandwich, to a great selection of healthy salads. The Tap's also a great place for casual meetings with friends or clients, watch the big game, or work on your laptop with our free Wi-Fi. Sure, we have bands, the famous piano bar, karaoke, and more, but details. Come see us in that unique-looking building on Harvey Road. The Tap, bleeding maroon since 1990.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie community online. And thanks to that community, we've been able to grow into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's breakdowns, award-winning video content, and the most reliable inside information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out at TexAgs.com and become a premium subscriber. TexAgs.com/subscribe.
Your home for Houston Texans football. Sports Radio 1150 and The Zone 102.7 FM.
Yeah, that's my old girlfriend.
Segment number 2 here at the Tab at the Beliucci Hour Lunch. Driving around looking for something good to eat, come grab $8.99 burger basket, $8.99 shrimp po' boy today. Don't forget, if you are here as well watching us, you've got index cards on your table with pens. Already got one question up here. If you want to ask me and Liucci anything, we'll try to get to these in that last segment.
We don't make fun of the questions like Louis used to, so feel free to ask them.
We're very open-minded up here.
It'd take a really bad one for me to ridicule it.
When you think of Beliucci, that's what I think of as just an open-minded guy.
Oh, yeah, speaking of, at least I can go to L.A. without freaking out.
I didn't freak out.
I've heard all about it. I won't even go on air with it. I heard you couldn't handle the culture shock.
I was in culture shock. I admitted that.
You're in America, dude. What you act like you're going overseas to some third world country or some.
I was born and raised
somewhere in far eastern Europe.
I was born and raised in the best state.
You in Serbia,
of all time.
Bosnia, or something? You're in L.A.
Billy, I don't get out there as much as you do.
You've been out there before.
Once.
But it's America.
I
You ought to be able to handle it.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it, did I?
I heard you melted down the whole weekend.
God.
That's what those girls said.
Who told you that?
Kat, Alex, I'll name them all. Kat, Alex, Logan, all of them.
Logan will do anything for a laugh.
Yeah, he will.
All right. Back on topic here in Texas with the game this weekend.
Where you can handle the crowds because there's a bunch of front table people around everywhere.
I love the front table.
A bunch of good country folk.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. The quarterback play is largely dependent on the offensive line play, which was poor Saturday. Will there be any shakeup this Saturday that you're expecting? And then what are some things that you would like to see them do execution-wise to put them on a path to success as SEC play starts?
Here's what I'll say. You can have good O-line play, and that doesn't ensure good quarterback play. If you have bad O-line play, unless you got like a Johnny Manziel or somebody that can run around back there like a Vince Young, this transcendent dual threat, you're not going to have good quarterback play without good O-line play. So there's no guarantee that Kellen Mond or Jake Hubenak will sit there and carve up a defense with time to throw. But your odds sure as hell go up, and you've got no chance if they can't block. And they could not block against Nichols. I heard Connor Lamphere talking about it this week, and he sounded embarrassed by it and said we're not going to see that again.
Well, you could almost bet that Jim Turner held those guys accountable. That meeting room this week had to be rough for a lot of those guys.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't. I mean, I think you could see how much he held Colton Prater accountable with the shakeup after halftime.
Yeah. And so is that what you think we'll see on Saturday?
Yeah, I think jobs were open this week. I think there's no question about it. Jobs were open this week, and I think you're not going to see the same O-line trotted out there this week that you saw last week. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and we've kind of hinted at names and people making moves, but it'll be just interesting to follow in-game moves. And, guys like Jared Hawker have been off the bench quick.
Yeah.
Carson Green, we heard him coming into the season. Now with last week's
you gotta
performance.
Think about, do you take a red shirt off of Dan Moore? That depends on how far along he is.
But my question is with the performance of last week and undoubtedly the jobs being open, you saw it in the second half, how much of a leash are some of these guys playing with?
Oh, I think it's extremely short. It's
Yeah,
extremely short. There's no question. I think at O-line and at wide receiver, the guys that aren't producing, if you're at wide receiver and you drop a pass, you might be set down for a while. And if the guy that comes in catches a couple, you might lose playing time against Arkansas as a result. Like, the pressure is on really everyone on the offense outside of the backfield. And obviously the quarterbacks are under a different set of pressure, but I'm talking about pressure to perform across the board offensively. If you're not getting it done, take a seat, let somebody else get in there and show what they can do, because that's
really,
where it's at.
Yeah, you're at that point now. Like, it goes back to what I said at the top of the show. Is for me now, you can't go into this as a preseason game. Now I've got to get good at what I'm good at. I've got to run the football effectively against Lafayette because that's what I'm going to need to do against.
Let me tell you something. If you can't run the football this weekend, the season's over. It's over. Just mail it in, pack it up. This is a team that has given up almost 400 yards rushing a game
to
southeastern Louisiana, the Lions, and to Tulsa. 400 yards, 385 yards per game on the ground to those two outfits. If you can't run the ball on them, just let's call it, because A&M's not going to win many football games at all this year. Maybe 3 or 4. Now, I that said, I fully expect them to run the hell out of the ball if they want to. If they want to run for 400 yards this weekend and can't, they got a problem. But I don't think that's necessarily the goal. I think the goal is still, again, we talk about that meshing of getting, doing well what you got to do, but also, so it would have been great if they ran well against Nichols and that wasn't a big concern. Now you want to see them reestablish a ground game, maybe with a new look up front. But at the same time, you've got to get Mond and Hubenak plenty of throws to get into that rhythm because that passing game has been really non-existent for 2 games.
How much Kendall Bussey do we see, in your opinion?
Well, you saw Travion Williams leave the game banged up, not return. You saw Keith Ford leave the game banged up. I don't remember if he returned, but I know he was cutting and running around looked like he was ready to go in if needed. I think those guys have returned to practice. But with that said, you need them full speed against Arkansas. I think you'll see a lot of Kendall Bussey this weekend. I think you'll see, if given the chance, several carries for Jacob Caboti as well.
And I still think Kendall Bussey showed you enough, Billy, from a skill set wise, that he's a viable option with a healthy Keith and a healthy Travion to help take the load off of those guys.
I think so.
We've talked so much about how those two complement each other so well. But just to get them off the field and just give them both a blow at the same time and have a guy that's reliable, catches the ball well in the backfield, is explosive, gets to the perimeter well, I think Kendall Bussey's done himself a huge favor last week against Nichols as far as even when those other two guys are healthy, him being involved in the offense somehow.
Yeah, no question about it. And he can catch passes. He can, I think if there's a weakness he's got, it's in the blocking game.
Mm-hmm.
But
that may come with experience too. He hadn't played a ton of games.
As far as running and catching the ball out of the backfield, he's a guy that can certainly do it at a high enough level, again, if there's blocking.
So you alluded to it a little bit. This offense should score points against Louisiana Lafayette. It should.
Yeah.
You look at Lafayette's depth chart, there's a ton of junior college guys. I think they struggled last year. And Mark Hudspeth went out and tried to retool his team in 1 year, which is essentially what mid-majors have to do is they've got to go heavy JUCO if they want to retool within a year. I think for the only Power 5 program that's worked for is Kansas State. He's off to a rough start defensively. If A&M is running the ball at will early, does that make you think, hey, later in the game, let's open up a lead, and then later in the game we can start throwing the football more, or would you start throwing the football? It's just funny to me because you have to build a lead to me, do what you do well, build your lead, and then go and try to make yourself better for the rest of the year once you're comfortable.
I think they need to play this team the way they would approach playing Arkansas and South Carolina offensively. I don't think they need to go out and say, we're going to get Kellen Mond to not run the football, and we're going to have him throw 15 passes in the first quarter. I don't think that's how you're going to beat Arkansas. It's not how you're going to beat South Carolina. But you're also not going to do it by babying him or covering Jake. Like if Jake's out there, let him take shots down the field. Let's see how accurate he can be. Let's see what that arm strength is. Because you're going to need those things to to win SEC football games. So, I don't think it's about let's race out to a lead and make it easy on these guys. I think it's about let's treat this as we will these SEC games and go out and run our offense. And that means, I think what that really means is pretty good balance. And
let's not forget
kind of take the training wheels off Kellen and as a passer, let Jake cut it loose as well.
For 2 weeks in a row, you haven't put the pedal to the metal. You haven't. You've jumped out to leads and you don't finish.
Yep.
So, to me, if you jump out to a lead here, it's as important as running your offense and getting ready for Arkansas as it is to build a mentality that now I go finish.
Yeah. They don't have a finisher's mentality, and that dates back to last season.
Mm-hmm.
That dates back to last season. And I think part of that, Bronny, I really do. I really think part of that is the lack of a veteran quarterback within the program. I really think that more so than any player in any position in a sport, with the exception of a stud basketball player like a Kobe or a LeBron or Steph or whoever you want to name. Jordan obviously is the perfect example. But if you don't, there's no player in sports that can be a tone setter, just where his attitude bleeds off into the whole program, and a finisher than a great quarterback, or even just a confident, successful QB. You look at Deshaun Watson last year. You look at Johnny when he was here. You look at a guy like a Cam Newton. Vince Young. You could go on and on and on. And they don't even have to be that talented. I'm not saying A&M has to have a guy like that. You look at a Case Keenum at U of H. Mm-hmm. When you have a veteran quarterback that has played a ton of football within your system, I think you're going to be a lot better at doing things like finishing games. You're going to have a guy that's confident and that's just, like, hey, guys, that can get in the huddle and say,
we're okay.
Well, let's end this right now. Or if the defense is leaking, get in there and say, hey, we're okay. We're going to go down and score right here. Even on the sidelines to his O-line, if they're struggling, to the defense, that's the special quarterback. You saw Johnny do that in that Duke game after they scored before the But guys that haven't played very much and are so concerned with their own job and what they're doing, it's very hard to do that. I thought Trevor did a great job of that last year, being thrust in just once for 1 year.
His special personality.
And he was. And look how that translated when he was healthy versus when they didn't have him. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it's clearly one of the biggest things that if Kevin Sumlin doesn't make it through this season, he doesn't make it back for next season, that's certainly on the short list of the shortcomings that will cost him his job. Is just that they couldn't. I mean, look, Trevor Knight, unless Jake ends up starting the rest of the way this year at some point, but you're looking at 6 years, and since 2013, so 4 years since, only once have you had a junior or senior starting at quarterback as your starter. Not Jake started a couple games as a junior last year, but your starting quarterback be an upperclassman. And that 1 year out of the 4 was a grad transfer from OU, so he was great as Trevor was with a lot of things. He'd also been in your system for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where they need to develop a little killer instinct too, is to have one of these quarterbacks make some plays down the stretch. Jake showed a little bit of that last week, but I think Kendall Bussey was really the one carrying that load.
We did say we're going to talk defense. We did not forget about that. On the other side of the break, we're going to look at the Aggie defense, how they match up with a very high-scoring Louisiana Lafayette offense. You're listening to Beliucci Hour Lunch live on the Zone.
From News Talk 1620 WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM. Brought to you by WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer in Bryan and Navasota. College Station police responded to the 1100 block of Oni Hervey between CC Creations and the Lincoln Recreation Center around 3 a.m. this morning for a stolen vehicle. According to the statement from CSPD, the caller saw 2 men inside a vehicle and provided accurate descriptions and directions as the suspects fled. Officers located and arrested 20-year-old Darren Aronde White of College Station and 19-year-old Brandon Alexander Scanlon of Bryan. A Bryan man is in jail for the second time in 3 days, the third time this year and the 17th time in 10 years. 27-year-old James Bronkel Tucker is being held without bond after his arrest on charges of beating and kidnapping his girlfriend. For at least the next 6 months, Texas World Speedway will be the home of more than 30,000 parked cars damaged beyond repair by flooding from Hurricane Harvey. Bill Mather at the Speedway says 400 acres of land has been leased for 6 months by a company that works with insurance companies processing claims for vehicle owners.
Only thing they're doing on this speedway is they park the car, the insurance companies get them inventoried, get the check, then they will start focusing on the second part, which is the ultimate disposal of the car, which is somewhere else besides Texas World Speedway.
He says the vehicles will not be parked where the first phase of home construction will begin in the Southern Point community. Mather also says driving on the one-time stock car racetrack and road course has been suspended through the rest of the year. News is brought to you by WC Tractor. For more, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM.
Kubota's Orange Opportunity Sales event is going on now. Take on the tough jobs in a powerful Kubota Standard L Series. With the right combination of dependable horsepower and ease of operation, they're perfect for the independent property owner. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 84 months. Now through October 31st, 2017. Call toll-free 1-800-794-4992 for details about cost and terms.
Visit WC Tractor in Bryan, your authorized Kubota dealer for Brazos County, or online at WCTractor.com. As the Brazos Valley's largest supplier of metal building components, pipe, and steel, Pioneer stocks a complete line of metal building and carport packages. From structural framework like I-beam and square tubing to sheet metal, trim packages, roll-up doors, and insulation, Pioneer is your one-stop shop. Metal buildings and carports are Pioneer Steel's specialty. Pioneer Steel, Highway 21 East. Call 979-589-2333 or on the web at pioneerboys.com. Gage Candy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Candy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Gage Candy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. Gage Candy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos County Courthouse in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Or visit GageCandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
Hi, this is Bobby Jenkins with ABC Home and Commercial Services. This is the time of year when rodents are flourishing. That means rats, raccoons, and mice are seeking shelter inside your home. No matter what kind of rodents you have, ABC can create a plan to get rid of them. Close up the openings where they come in and catch any that may be in your home. Plus, all ABC specialists undergo background screening so you can feel comfortable with our team on your property. ABC Home and Commercial Services, specialists for your environment.
For courteous service, just call ABC Home and Commercial Services.
You can watch the Beliucci Hour live each Monday and Thursday at noon. Live on our Facebook page at Zone 1150.
Thursday afternoon here at the Tap on Harvey Road. You're listening to Beliucci Hour Lunch, live on Sports Radio 1150 FM or AM and 102.7 FM. Again, $8.99 burger basket today, $8.99 shrimp po' boy, $8.49. I can't see. Look at that sign over there. Nope, that one. I can't. I thought that was a 9 or 4. I mean, a 9. It's a 4.
Send you into a seizure.
I know.
If you look at it too long.
There's only certain colors where, but it is $8.49. I shorted you 50 cents, so I apologize for that. We do have some questions coming up from here at the Tap. We'll try to get to those the last segment during our prediction segment. But in this third segment, I want to get into the defense, Billy, because really for 6 of the 8 quarters this year, they played pretty well. And they played pretty well without one of their biggest playmakers. They played pretty well with a true freshman playing, at least one true freshman playing a lot at corner. They played pretty well with a brand-new middle linebacker who's probably been the best player on the team, most consistent player on the team this year so far. Where are you at with the defense right now? And then where are you at going into a weekend where they, talent-wise, they're much better than Louisiana Lafayette is offensively, but in those losses that Lafayette's had, they have one loss. They have put up good offensive numbers as well.
Well, going into this weekend, I think they face a real challenge. Not only can ULL sling it with Jordan Davis at quarterback, and he's a runner and a thrower.
But is it Matt Davis's brother or cousin?
I don't think it's his brother, but it's a relative. I don't think it's his brother.
Okay.
It might be, but I haven't paid attention to that. I just watch what he does on the field. I'm not into social media crap, but I think.
Says the guy who was just on Instagram.
Was that Instagram or Twitter I was on?
Whatever.
But I don't just go and look for storylines at this point in time. I'm trying to watch the damn games and see, and I see a team that can move the ball and score points and can do it against the A&M defense if the defense doesn't get better. I've been impressed with the A&M run defense, although they haven't faced anything like they will face in the SEC, but I've been impressed. I mean, it is what it is. And that those type teams, Nichols and UCLA UCLA did run for a lot more yards against A&M and greater yards per carry a year ago. And a team like Nichols would have had more success running against past A&M defenses. And so But I do think this team, with the way they can throw it with Davis, with the 2 wide receivers they've got, one in the slot, which he versus Priest Willis is going to be one of my key matchups this week, with the playmakers on the outside, and they've got a couple of running backs that can go. They got 2 freshmen, one a redshirt, one a true, that one of them's averaging about 12.5 yards a carry, 15 for I don't know what, and then the other one is at about 7.5 yards a carry. I mean, these guys can run, and they're both about 5'11", 225. They're bigger guys. So when they spread you out and can get those pads straightened out, get those pads level, it's going to be, Dotson's going to have a lot of tackles. He and Alaka are going to have to show up, I think, and be big-time tackle producers in this one. That defensive front's got to dominate. They're going against a ULL line that returns 4 starters. So there's a lot there to be worried about. And to evaluate the defense so far, run defense has been good. Really good to hold Nichols to 1 touchdown the whole game, and they stepped up in the fourth quarter when they had to.
And the only reason they got down there is they hit a big bomb on a perfect throw and good coverage. I mean, there's not much Miles Jones could have done better.
No. And that quarterback, he had a nice game, completed some passes, but there were still some guys that were too open in that one. And now, again, that's because you were playing a lot of times 2 true freshman corners, and you're without your starting safety. But that's still the case. If Charles Oliver isn't back from what looked like not a serious injury, but he left the game and didn't return, if he's not back, that is who you are.
You start Miles Jones and Devin Renfro.
And if Derek Tucker's not back yet, to push Larry Pryor back there, that is who you are. So I do think, and they were great for a half against UCLA. They were all right in the third quarter, not really. They were great for 1 half, and they were horrendous, atrocious, heinous, hideous, disgusting, whatever you want to call it, for a half against UCLA. And really, for the most part of a half. I mean, they still gave up 14 in that third quarter, or am I mistaken?
I think it was 44-17 going into the.
Okay, so they gave up 7. So, yeah, for a quarter and a half, whatever the hell we want to call it, they were not good in the second half of that game. And, looking ahead at Nichols, I'd say they were good, not great. There's certain numbers that were great. The run defense was great. Any team to 1 touchdown is great. But they also gave up drives, Bronny, of 12 and 15 plays in that game too. And the big plays we talked about. The Miles Jones one was great coverage. There were some other big hitters. Some of them were little swing passes where Armani Watts missed a wide open field tackle. Charles Oliver missed one. So 2-yard, 3-yard gains turned into 30. This defense is far from being there yet.
Again, though, we had another opportunity, too. They did get a turnover on a fumble, but Miles Jones had a pick 6 go through his hands.
I like what they're doing in the turnover department on both sides of the ball. They're, plus 5? 5 takeaways, no turnovers through 2 games. Yeah, Miles Jones could have had an ender on a pick 6. Dotson with the pick. A huge strip and recovered fumble from Debian Renfro when they really needed it in the third quarter of that game. Armani could have had a pick 6 early in that game. We talked last week about all the dropped interceptions against UCLA, and they still produced 3 turnovers.
Right.
So that is very encouraging if you're watching this defense to go, okay, it looks like they've got a penchant for takeaways, and they're putting themselves in position in the secondary to get their hands on football.
I would certainly feel better. I would certainly feel better about Derek Tucker's return if it had been a week earlier, about him playing significant minutes in SEC play. But again, only thing we can go off is what we've heard he's done in practice and in his high school film, and he is another guy that gets his hands on the football a lot. Again,
I think they need him back there, to be perfectly honest with you.
Hey, let's go to an early break so we can get to questions and pick them on the other side, our last segment. You are listening to the Beliucci Hour Lunch here at the Tap and live on the Zone.
You can listen to Chip Howard 4-6 weekdays on Sports Radio 1150, The Zone 102.7 FM, and online at RadioAggieland.com. Chip Howard.
Find out why folks are still discovering the Tap after 26 years. We think it's because we offer something for all ages, from tasty food like our Philly cheesesteak, bacon cheese tater tots, or 3/4-pound triple-decker club sandwich, to a great selection of healthy salads. The Tap's also a great place for casual meetings with friends or clients, watch the big game, or work on your laptop with our free Wi-Fi. Sure, we have bands, the famous piano bar, karaoke, and more, but details. Come see us in that unique-looking building on Harvey Road. The Tap, bleeding maroon since 1990.
You have an office space.
Hello!
So how do you make the best use of your space? From design to installation, Systems Office Furniture will create a welcoming, efficient office environment within your budget. We supply new and pre-owned office furniture, and with prices at 50 to 60% below retail, you're making a smart business decision. Many large Brazos Valley businesses have trusted Systems Office Furniture to create their offices, and you should too. Visit our showroom Monday through Friday on Highway 30 between Harvey Road and William D. Fitch, or go to createmyoffice.com. That's createmyoffice.com.
If you're looking for full-service appetizers and buffets, upscale plated dinners, or just casual drop-offs, Admiral Catering is your answer. Admiral Catering's got parties, professional events, special occasions, and tailgating. They offer custom menus and a full-time events coordinator. Go Admiral Catering for professional, experience, and dependable food and presentation. You can book your holiday events now. Admiral Catering, creating delicious memories. Go to admiralcatering.com. That's admiralcatering.com.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
You can hear Bryan Vikings football all season long on Sports Radio 1150. Every play, every game, every Friday night. Thanks to Safeway Driving, Shayna Elliott, financial advisor with Edward Jones Investments, Citizens Bank, and the city of College Station. Your favorite high school teams, Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High, play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. To find out when and where to hear your team, visit brazosfootball.com.
Today, still wanted by the Texas A&M administration, they survive as voices of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can listen to the WRI Tractors pregame show team, powered by TexAgs.com, with Louis Bellina, Robert Cessna, and Olin Buchanan. 3 hours before every Aggie home game, live from the lawn of the Alumni Center, home of the Association of Former Students. The WRI Tractors pregame show, powered by TexAgs.com.
Final segment here on Thursday, Beliucci Hour lunch, live at the Tap on Harvey Road. And Billy, let's not waste any time. Let's get into some of these questions that have been submitted to us by the people here at the Tap. If A&M had managed to hang on against UCLA, would Aggies have an entirely different attitude about the season?
Of course. There would be concern. There would be kind of like, oh, man, the offense is struggling. What do we do? But of course, the outlook would be completely different right now. Everything written, everything said, every radio commentary, every ESPN pundit, there would be skepticism that A&M was going to be very good, and there would be concern amongst the Aggie fan base and certainly in Bright, but it would be night and day different.
I've been disappointed with the offensive numbers with the Sumlin era post Kingsbury. Is it possible Kingsbury was always the offensive mastermind for Sumlin at U of H?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you should be disappointed with the offensive production. I mean, just compare it to other teams in your conference. It's points by any metric, points, yards. If you want to say rushing, the inability to run the football in short yards, then yeah, I would agree. But I do think there's something to the fact that Cliff Kingsbury was the best coordinator someone's ever had, and no question that they haven't been able to replicate. And I know Cliff had Johnny, but just watch what Cliff does, even up there at Tech when they're not very good.
Points,
Cliff was an offensive mastermind, and they haven't been able to replicate that, but there's no question about it.
Last question from here at the Tap. Where is Calvin Klein? I don't know where he's at right now. Probably at Bright.
good question though. Is he was a very productive guy in the spring. He had a fall camp that was fine, and we haven't seen him. I'm optimistic because this week we saw, and he's been playing. I see him out there on specialty. I see him out there from time to time. The tight ends caught 3 passes this week. They were targeted 4 or 5, I think 5 times against Nichols. So that's something when you talk about what do you work on versus just trying to go out there and dominate an opponent. I think another thing I would love to see them work on is getting the ball to those tight ends who I think Hansford has a chance to be really good, but he's not yet. But there's still guys that are out there. And if you're going to go 3 wide and a tight end so much, I'd like to see them get involved in the damn passing game a little bit.
All right, so we'll go to the SEC Challenge Pick'em contest. Don't forget, it's all online this year. Go to zone1150.com, click on the SEC Challenge Pick'em contest. It is powered by Malik Heating and Air. You can also sign in through Facebook. So we'll get to the games this week. Billy, Florida, Tennessee, who you got?
I like the Vols down there with Dormandy, a big win for Butch Jones.
I don't believe in them yet.
Yeah, but do you believe in Florida?
I believe in Florida's defense more than I believe in anything on Tennessee.
I agree with that, but is Tennessee's defense and offense better than just Florida's defense? I don't know. That's a tough game, but I'm gonna go with the Vols. I don't think Florida offensively can get it done.
Here's an interesting one: Missouri, Purdue.
It's a very interesting one, and I'm gonna go with the fighting. What's his name? My boy over there.
Brom?
Jeff Brahms.
That's who I picked, Purdue.
I am too.
I think they've definitely looked better over the last probably 6 games total going back to last year. They competed down the stretch against Wisconsin. They gave somebody a rough run.
I'll go Purdue for sure on that one.
Bama, Colorado State. Colorado State is better than you think, and they've done a good job there, but this ain't going to be close.
No, Bama.
Mississippi
Bama
State,
will just
LSU.
impose their will. That's a game right there worth watching.
I think that's tough.
I'm going to go LSU, I think. But Mississippi State, to me, I might be wrong here. I feel like they always play LSU close. They beat them with Dak. But I'm going to go.
I'm going with Darius Guice.
Yeah, I'm going to go Guice. I'm going to go that defense.
Yeah.
I think Fitzgerald will have a rough time of it on Saturday.
Georgia, Samford. Georgia coming off a big loss. A big win on the road. Upset alert or no?
No.
Another kind of funny one here, or an interesting one, especially if you're paying attention to the Aggies and how the Aggies season plays out. South Carolina, Kentucky.
Yeah, okay, let me tell you something. I think South Carolina is overrated, but per what the A&M fans are thinking right now, my God, there's no way they can beat South Carolina. That's a loss. Let's wait a couple weeks. I'm not saying that South Carolina, if they'd have played the last 2 weeks, I don't know. Maybe A&M would have won the opener. South Carolina looked better last week, but what have they done?
Their numbers aren't as good as their
record. You look at the numbers Bentley's putting up. They're not that good. They got doubled up in yards by NC State, but they had 3 non-offensive touchdowns. NC State didn't look good this past week. They scored 31 against Missouri, but Southeast Missouri State, or whoever the hell they are, scored 45 against them and had that many in a half. And then on top of it, they played against a defense that fired their coordinator after that game, 2 games into the season. So South Carolina's definitely improved. I don't think they're there yet. I think that's a good game, but I actually do like the Gamecocks to come in here at 4-0, believe it or not, and ranked, which to me, if A&M can get by Arkansas, will be a good thing for the Aggies. Give them something to play for and give the fans something to get excited about.
They just had the Texas the A&M Texas volleyball game from last night was on the TVs here, and they just had the Hellraisers on. My only issue with that is if you're going to paint up face and chest, hit the bench press at least once that week, and maybe some crunches.
Dude, I forgot those morons even exist. Not the Longhorns, the Hellraisers. The Hellraisers and the Baylor line and the bell ringer at Tech. The 3 best reasons for me that Texas A&M no longer is in the Big 12. Go ahead.
Kansas State, Vandy.
Oh, that's a good game, I think. I like K-State in that.
Man,
but man, I think Vandy's tough under Mason, but I like K-State. And Shermer,
That'll be a tough
The
football.
Sherm Dog millionaire, I never thought that guy was going to be a good quarterback. But, man, he is playing really good football. I like the Wildcats in that one, and then the Big 12 will probably beat its chest. But you know what? They should after last weekend after what OU did.
Will be a lot of tough kids playing that game. Vandy, K-State, they're very disciplined football club is going to play hard.
Particularly that Vandy D.
Ole Miss, Cal.
Man, I actually texted DeRuiter yesterday. I didn't even know they were playing Ole Miss, and they're going in there. Man, what a nice win that would be for Cal.
I picked Cal. They've been on the road, beat North Carolina, better win than probably most people think.
Yeah, North Carolina and Ole Miss will be a toss-up.
Yeah.
I didn't like Ole Miss last weekend against whoever the heck it was. It was Tennessee Martin or whoever it was. Yeah. But they just over the course of time exploited that advantage at wide receiver, the playmakers, and Martin had no answer. But I didn't like anything else about their performance. But I think I'm going to go Ole Miss in a shootout over there.
30 seconds. A&M, Lafayette, final score.
I like the Aggies to go 48 because I think, you're still not settled at quarterback. I like them to go 48-23.
I got A&M 40-21. Don't forget, go out and enjoy the game this weekend. Be safe. Have a good weekend. We will be back here on Monday to discuss everything that happened over the weekend. You've listened to the Beliucci Hour Lunch, live from here at the Tap and on the Zone.
You cheer your Texas Rangers on every game. You follow every stat, and you know the names of every player. But to be the ultimate fan, you need